All right, everybody, today we're gonna make some quick and easy Salisbury steak. This is the recipe that used to be on the back of the Heinz Mushroom Gravy. I think now it's just meatball stroganoff on the beef and the mushroom. So luckily, I've got a screenshot of it here. The recipe actually calls for ground beef and an egg to be mixed together. We find that it's a lot easier just to get a couple burger patties. These are 90% lean, 10% fat. And we're gonna sear these high and fast, and then we're gonna do vegetables. So let's get going. What I'm gonna do here is first I'm gonna get my pan going. I'm gonna put this on medium-high heat. It's a fairly big pan. I'm just going to season these really well. Some salt and pepper. Salt's going to make a really good crust on these. This is a really fast recipe. This all comes together in about 30 minutes. And the way that I'm going to show you how to do it is just really easy, but it's going to develop some really deep flavors. All right. The other things that you're going to need some mushrooms, which is not called for in the actual recipe, and some onions. I use sliced onions. We're going to cut them in half. You can certainly just get a white onion or a sweet onion and do that. Soy sauce and a little bit of butter. And really, and ketchup. Need some ketchup. Of course, I'm sure we've got some Heinz ketchup here. Keeping with the theme. All right, so we're letting this get good and hot. If these were a little bit more fatty, I'd probably cook these a little bit lower and a little bit longer. But since they're leaner, we just want to get this nice and hot and get a good sear on them. We're not going to cook them all the way. Just going to ask Siri. Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes.
Yeah. 2 minutes, starting now.
So we're gonna put these in, I set the timer for 2 minutes, but we're gonna check them at about 1.5 minutes. We just really want them to get nice color on them because they're gonna continue to cook. It's not quite gonna be like a smash burger pushing them down, but just give them a little bit to get that nice surface coverage of the pan. Turn my vent on. I'm just going to let that go. While these burger patties are searing, I'm just going to go ahead and prepare some of the other ingredients here. We've got about 2 tablespoons of butter that we're going to use for the vegetables. We're going to actually cook the vegetables in the burger fat, or what little there is, so we're going to add that to it. The other thing that we're going to do is we'll season these vegetables right in the pan once they go. Okay. Take my kitchen scissors here, and I'm just going to cut these roughly in half. I find that's the easiest way to do it. No tears, which is good. Make sure there isn't one of those weird pads underneath it. All right, I'm going to flip these over. Yeah, that's good. Hey Siri, stop. Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Nothing crazy, just get some good color on them. All right, so this one looks a little yucky. And this is, like I said, very easy. We're all just gonna throw it in the pan. All right, I've got a can of mushroom gravy here. And then in a measuring cup, I like to do this here. I do 2 tablespoons of the ketchup and 1 tablespoon of the soy sauce. You can use the low sodium if you like. I'm just going to give this a quick stir. And that's really nice. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour the gravy in here because it's all going to go in the pan at the same time. So I want to get it all nice and cohesive. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just give this a good shake. Get the rest of it out of there. Okay. Hey Siri, what's left on the timer?
Yeah. There are no timers on HomePod.
All right, well, I guess it didn't set. All right, these look pretty good. I'm gonna take these out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cover them. And let them sit here. They're nowhere near done. They're gonna cook. All right, this is burning up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put some butter in. That's gonna release some of that fond. Turn the heat down to medium. We don't want to burn the butter. Maybe a wooden spoon. Now, this is all flavor that's developing. Now, mushrooms take longer than onions. And I find that the right amount of time for onions is about 8 minutes. So, and for mushrooms is about 12 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put these mushrooms in. I'm all nice and coated. And I'll go ahead and season them with some salt and pepper. And what we want is for the mushrooms to release their liquid. Hey Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
Some quick math there, and then we'll put the onions in for 8. We're going to season the onions again once they're in there. So you can see the mushrooms are picking up all that nice fond from the burgers. And don't worry if you get anything stuck to the pan. We're going to deglaze it before we put the meat back in. All right, we're just gonna let that cook until it's time to add the onions. About the halfway point here, I'm just adding maybe a teaspoon of water, just to give it a little extra help. You can see it's looking really good. All right, so we're right at the point where we're gonna add our next ingredients, and you can see that we've got some really nice color on the mushrooms and the onions. And now we're just gonna go ahead and take a little bit of red wine, deglaze the pan. That's really about all you need, is maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Give it a good stir. This is a really good way with any kind of beef related recipe, just to get some really nice deep flavor. All right, just let that cook off for just a second. And we're just gonna go ahead and add the sauce. Turn that heat down. Turn that down to about medium-low. Let that do its thing. And we're gonna take the beef and we're just gonna use a spatula. Just wanna nestle those in there. And then you're just gonna add any juices that were left over. Get them in there. And go ahead and just cover these patties with the gravy. All right, so it looks like it's at a good simmer right now. So, I'm gonna put the cover on. Keep it at a simmer on low for about 10 minutes. I didn't want to waste any of this sauce here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And we won't use all of this water, but just kind of concentrate that and give it just a tiny bit. I will say that once this is simmering, there really is not a reason to stir it as long as it's on low and it's still simmering. Obviously, if you see it that it's really boiling, you might want to take the cover off of it and turn the heat down a little bit and let it get a little bit cool. The goal here is just to get the meat up to 165 or however you like it. All right, so I'm just gonna check these. Hey Siri, stop. I'm gonna go ahead and check these burgers here. Sorry, steaks. Yeah, they're good. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off. I'm gonna use my spoon to just kind of stir everything. Get all those juices mixed in. All right. So we'll go ahead and plate this, and this is done. This is ready to eat. All right, we're gonna go ahead and plate this. Got pasta bowls, which I use for everything. Got mashed potatoes here. If you want my mashed potato recipe, you go to the refrigeration section in your local grocery store and pick them up. All right, gonna make a nice little bed. Put a little bit of gravy on the mashed potatoes. Go ahead and take our Salisbury steak, put it on the side here. And then, because we're in the south of the United States, we're gonna go ahead and smother this. And there we are. That is quick and easy, back of the jar Salisbury steak.